Hey, Serena.
Oh, hello. Time for the broadcast. How do I look? It doesn't matter how I look because the set looks good. Welcome to my brand new set, Glowed Up by Forward. Thank you for my couch. I think I might just take a break. Welcome to this episode of Loving Yourself. Wow, today so many things to tackle, okay? How do you love yourself as a young lady who's about to transition into married life? A young lady who's starting her very own business, who started her own very own business with a very unique way of doing business. Just a young lady tackling this big world and still find time to love yourself through all this. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Angelica.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. I actually like hunted her down on Instagram. Don't be afraid. I just really like your story. That's why I hunted her down. Because loving yourself is all about finding time to love the person that you are at whatever stage that you're at. And you are at a very busy stage right now. She runs an interior design. Can I call it a firm?
Yeah, it's a little studio called
Yeah.
Sundays in Bed. Yeah.
Sundays in Bed. We're going to put the, what do you call it, account underneath. And also, you are about to get married. We'll get to that. And also a podcaster for Sundays in Bed. So you're not new to this podcasting. Tell us about that. Your background. You're an interior designer. You've been doing this for 10 years, but you're so young.
Yeah.
How did it start?
I mean, I think it all started. So I went to uni and, I did the whole interior design course and everything. And from there, it just carried forward. But obviously, I never knew interior design was what I wanted to go from the get-go. I had very traditional parents in the sense where, they were like, go do some science course or things like that. So even in high school.
So why did you go into it? Why did you pick?
Why did
design?
I pick it? I think I was always interested in it somehow. Like I would always redecorate my room, move all the stuff around, just see what I could do with the room, even when I was young. And I remember, I think a few years after I started working, my dad actually sent me this photo of the very first floor plan that I drew when I was maybe like 5 or 6. Yeah, and I looked at it and I'm like, if I looked at it now, I would never understand what it was.
Yes.
But I guess it kind of shows like there was a seed.
What were you
inside.
working as at that point when he showed you that?
Interior design.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you've already picked interior
I
design,
already
but
picked
your
interior
dad
design.
showed you why you were on this path.
Yeah.
So what made you say, okay, I want to study interior design? Just sort of because you kind of like it.
Yeah,
and you
because
weren't
I
sure
always
yet.
thought I liked it, and I was
Yeah.
like, you know what, let's go for it, try it
Yeah.
out. Like, what is it actually about? Because like even in Malaysia, it's not very common
No.
thing, especially like 10 years ago. Like, what is interior design? So yeah, I
Yeah.
think give it a go, and
Now you're
eventually-
here.
Yeah, exactly. I'm still here, so
How about that? I'll share the same story. My mom kept, our parents are traditional. We kept everything, right? And no, she didn't have to remind me of this because I knew at the age of 10 onwards, I was drawing floor plans too.
yeah.
I had very specific floor plans, where the kitchen would be, how the cabinets would look.
Yeah.
The floor plans is when you look from up down.
Yes.
It's not something a 10-year-old normally draws. You draw a house and whatnot. And I remember like, oh, the kitchen needs to be like this because it needs to be connected to this. The functionality of
Yeah.
it all. But then I didn't go into what she did because my father said, no, first you have to study architecture. Architecture takes 7 years. Interior design another 3 years. So basically, I did the lazy girl thing and did not study. You did, and I'm so proud of you because that's how I stumbled upon Sundays in Bed. Not even 2 seconds of looking at the grid of Sundays in Bed, I fell in love because that's the kind of design that I like. I don't know about you, but check out Sundays in Bed, and then you'll know what I'm talking about. Sundays in Bed actually has a very unique concept. Can you explain how it works for clients?
Yes. So usually there's two ways that people charge here for interior design. First is by percentage of your renovation cost, so 10% or things like that. Second is they charge by square feet or square foot. So it can be like a certain amount times your square foot. But I always believe that, it doesn't matter how big or small your space is, it should feel the same. It should feel like home to you.
Right.
So how we charge is actually a fixed price based on the type of rooms. So
For example.
for example, like an open space.
Right.
Or like a single function, like bedroom or a study room, So for us, really, it's more about really emphasizing how it feels.
Right.
Right. More than okay. If your room is this big, why must I pay more?
You know what?
it's-
That actually
yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, so we don't want that to kind of take away from like, oh, if I have a bigger space, I need to pay more.
So a bedroom is a certain place, a kitchen is, a certain price, and the kitchen is a certain price.
Yes.
Even if your kitchen is 3,000 square feet.
Exactly.
It's the same price
Yes.
for the design.
Yes.
Obviously, design is design, right? This is not cost and material and
Yeah.
cabinets and all that.
Yeah.
The design itself,
itself.
from drawing to the end product of the
Exactly.
drawing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Is that a new thing in Malaysia, or have people done this before?
I mean, so far I haven't come across any that's doing it this way. I did see like some of them that are quite modular in a sense where, okay, if I pick this design, it's a certain price.
Right.
But I feel like that might not be what we are going for because we want things to be very personalized as
Right.
well. So we don't have like a cookie cutter, choose this design, is this price.
I like that. And how is that working out for you when it comes to client? Did they like it better?
I think it's a good approach.
Yeah.
Because it's something fresh, it's something new, and we really try to emphasize again, about the whole process rather than,
Yeah. Okay, so how does it work? They come in with an idea, you sit with them, and then because you say it's personal, right?
Yeah.
And then you come with your idea as well. How long
Yeah.
does the okay, I really want to make my room a little more. I'm gonna go way out there, okay? Because
Yeah.
Malaysian
Yeah.
sometimes like, ooh, my room is too Malaysian now. I want to make it look like an English cottage.
Yes. Actually,
Okay.
recently, a lot of our clients have been asking for this kind of English style.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I just
Yeah, no,
Okay.
really.
So like,
Yeah.
I want English cottage in my little small
Yes.
Malaysian condo room.
Yeah, exactly.
So how would you approach this situation? You'd be like, okay, this is the price first of all, and then you sit down and you brainstorm.
Yeah, so actually, we really firmly believe in working with you rather than for you. So a lot of times, like the first question that the client will usually ask is like, oh, what if you come out with the design and I don't like it? Like, is
Right.
there any room for change? Of course,
Yeah.
we're not going to design it for you. We're designing it with you. If you don't like it, we'll change it. And we go through stages, It's not like, okay, start to end, here's the design, take it or leave it. Yeah, so it's a lot about finding out your personal preference, how you use the space, how you interact with the space. So yeah, it's a very step-by-step process.
So on average, like say my English cottage bedroom, right?
Yeah.
From start to finish, how long does it take?
I think it really depends because it's also about how soon and how busy the clients are. How soon can they respond to us? How soon can they look at the feedback or give us that kind of feedback? So it really depends on the client as well.
So, and what kind of clients have you been getting so far? Are they mostly agreeable? Do you have like really difficult, like, oh, I just don't want this, I don't
Yeah.
want this kind of clients?
Yeah, obviously you have like both ends of the spectrum. If you get a easy client, that's great. Like that's the best that you can ask for. But you will also always have difficult clients. But I think the most important part about that is like managing expectations.
When you
Yeah.
have difficult clients, and you run a podcast on that, you know,
Yes.
check out her podcast also on Sundays in Bed, My Sundays in Bed on Instagram. Talk about handling clients and all that. Well, we won't get into that right now, but I want to find out more about you because it is about loving yourself right now because it's a small business, and it's only been the first anniversary just passed. Congratulations!
thank
by
you
the
so
way.
much.
You're
Thank
still
you.
here. Did you see yourself coming this far? How far do you see yourself going with Sundays in Bed?
I think for me, it was, a very good and nice surprise. Like, obviously, starting this whole journey, I think, honestly, think I've achieved more than I thought I would in the past year.
Right.
Yeah, so like good problem to have as well, you know. Yeah.
But how did you start? Is it a one person thing, or do you have a partner?
Yeah, so it's a one person thing.
Mm-hmm.
I do have teams that I work with, but yeah,
You,
one person.
you employ them, or are these all freelancers?
So we go by project basis.
And how do you source these people? I'm always like, how do you find these people?
I mean, a few of them are like word of mouth and recommendations. So when you first start, you'd be like, ask
Right.
the designer friends, do you know anyone who's interested, that sort of thing.
Right.
And I think eventually people start applying on
Yeah.
through like social media and stuff. Yeah.
You just see the power of
Yeah.
social media. Honestly, like I think this is the new way to go. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We don't go through the type in your resume thing anymore.
Yeah.
That's how I found her. So I think this is the future. Even when it comes to design, right? You know people through Instagram. You know their work, and then boom, suddenly you have
Yeah.
a dream team.
Yeah.
I find that so refreshing.
Yeah, I mean, even your social media now is basically your portfolio.
Basically, I should
Yeah.
think about that and post less about my children.
No,
I
but
really
it's
should.
good though, because when you post more about yourself as well, people are engaged with you. Like they know your story.
You're right. Yeah, but I'm not very good at it. I'm very scatterbrained. This is not about me though. But talking about social media, there's a lot of work that you put into Sundays in Bed. I can see the reels, all the ideas, and the virals that you have to follow. Do you find that draining? Or do you enjoy the process of that? Did that bring more business for Sundays in Bed?
I think it definitely like helps with the business, the spreading and how do you call that?
Awareness, reach.
Yeah, the awareness and the reach as well. Obviously, there are some things that I had to do, which maybe before this I wouldn't have been comfortable with. Like like you said, like following trends and stuff.
Dancing? Do you
Yep,
dance?
dancing. I had to like run around KL as well.
I saw that. It's for the first anniversary of Sundays in Bed.
Yeah.
I loved it. Do you, obviously you have a content creator, right?
Yeah.
They think of the idea and you
Yeah,
just kinda do it?
so it's a mix of both. Like some of the things he will come up with, for example, like all these little pockets of stories he will come out with. But there are others also which I will come up with. So yeah, I think it's a very two-way street.
You have
Yeah.
to be very sporting as a business owner to do this, because nowadays you have to do
You
it,
have
right?
to.
Like,
Yes.
If it was up to me, I wouldn't touch my phone at all, because I'm supposed to engage with my children.
Yeah.
But this is my job. and
Yeah.
This is your job. And to a certain extent, every business needs social media.
Exactly.
Do you agree with that?
Exactly,
Yeah.
for sure, 100%.
What do you say to like young business owners when it comes to social media, managing social media? For me, number one would be consistency. And for you?
I would say consistency as well. And also, I think in the end, we're always quite scared to be like, oh, if I do this, I'll get judged or someone will look at me differently. Like, even when I first started doing all these like silly things.
What's silly? Nothing is silly
Like
anymore.
exactly, like but when you start doing all these silly things, I get like teased by my friends and stuff. But in the end, I'm like, you know what? It doesn't matter because this is what I have to do, and
And do they understand now? Like,
yeah,
hey,
I think
man,
so. Eventually,
it's for
yeah,
the business,
exactly.
right?
And I was like, laugh all you want, but yeah.
All right. So, but you also did a reel on this one. I mean, just check out the Sundays in Bed Instagram and you'll find it, which I found really funny.
Yeah.
Life of a small business owner. Now,
Yep.
talk us through what it is for you as a young lady and a small business owner.
I think as a small business owner, you kind of like have to juggle a lot of roles.
Right.
You're not just a designer, you're a marketer. You have to do so many different things. And obviously sometimes it gets tiring and overwhelming, but I think I try to remind myself why I started.
Right.
Why is it I started? And when I see like how clients are happy at the end, that makes me feel very fulfilled.
Right. So,
And-
what was your why? Why did you start Sundays in Bed?
Why did I start? Okay. So actually, because I used to live in the UK
Right.
and work there, but when I came back, I realized that this essence for me was missing. Like a lot of things here, interior design is about how it looks in the end.
Yes.
But I always believe that it's more than just how it looks. It's a lot about how it feels as well, how you connect to the space, how that space encourages connection, comfort, and belonging. So for me, I felt that, okay, we need to kind of bring that back, and it has to start with us, the industry people itself.
Do you think Malaysia sort of lost it? I mean, this whole connection with the design. I mean, when it comes to consumers, a lot of us want the English cottage thing, but we don't even understand what it is. It's just something that you saw in a magazine that looks nice. Do you think we lost connection with the idea that we need to connect with our space?
Yeah. I don't think we necessarily lost it. I think it's a lot about like maybe because we're so used to like things like, social media and Pinterest nowadays and everything. We just know how it looks.
Yes.
But like it's so important to make very intentional decisions with everything. For example, actually, talking about our launch party that you brought up.
Yeah.
Like we did a workshop with an art studio. So it's about creating pieces with your loved one, a connecting piece. And it's more on like, okay, if we were to make this artwork, it would have meaning.
Right.
If we were to buy it and just hang it on our wall, we might not necessarily bring it to, let's say, our new place if we move. So the moment you start putting meaning into things, like every intentional decision becomes meaningful. And it's kind of things like that, like little elements of that, of bringing meaning to a space and being connected to your space.
I actually really like that art piece. I want to do that too.
Yeah.
No, but when it comes to meaning in space, I remember when I was younger, very much younger and single, I used to flip through magazines and go like, I just want that chair, It's more like not meaningful. It's more like following trends. Like I wanted the Barcelona, I wanted the Eames, I wanted the Stark and all that, but it's not comfortable. I have my Stark. It's not comfortable. It's pretty, but not very comfortable. So I think now the trend, I don't know if it's a trend these few years, but I mean, is wellness interior design, which we will tackle in another episode, by the way. I'm bringing her back because now more than ever, we need to think about our mindset, coming home to a space that really flows and things, right? So I think it's not much more about the Eames and the Stark and all that anymore. It's more about how you feel when you sit down on your couch, right? So we will bring that into the next episode. But was there ever a point when you were doing this, because you've been doing Sundays in Bed for 1 year? This is yours.
Yeah.
This is yours alone.
Yeah.
As a business, was there a point where you went like, oh, this is just too difficult, I want to give up?
Yeah.
Tell us the story.
I mean, there were several times, obviously, when it became too overwhelming and I'm like, was this the right choice? Like, should I just not have started Sundays in Bed, or is this how it's going to be for the next few years, that sort of thing. So I think all those little pockets of moments, obviously you will doubt yourself, but I think again, coming back to it, always reminding myself why I started. And if it was an easy journey, it probably wouldn't have been so fulfilling.
Okay, so that's good for business owners out there, because there will be so many bumps, right?
Yeah.
But all right, let's say from day 0 to the first day you got a customer.
Yeah.
How many days was that roughly? And how much work did you have to put into it before you got your first customer that went like, oh, I'm gonna try Sundays in Bed?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, very blessed, but not that long since the launch.
Great.
Yeah.
Like what? A month, weeks?
A few weeks, yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. That's why I said like I was also very surprised at like how far we've come.
Do you think it has to do also with, because like before your launch, you posted a lot of pictures and styles about Sundays in Bed. That definitely helped garner like interest and all that, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. Yeah, we really have to check out Sundays in Bed, because like Instagram is so powerful when you use it right,
Yeah.
That's how I got attracted to her design. I mean, if I was to renovate my house, I mean, you'd be the first one I call.
Yeah.
Because you just need
I'll
to
be
look
there.
at the grid. And now you know precisely what the budget is for each room. And I think that's very comforting for clients.
Yeah.
Because like, in the old days, you know, they'll always be like, oh yeah, but this happened and now I have to charge you more. And you don't have that, right?
Yeah.
One room is this price. And so that's very comforting for us to know.
Yeah.
So like, okay, despite the setbacks and, you know, all this, because it is tiring to be the marketer, the finance person, and everybody, even the hello person is her. The admin person I had to email was her. How do you love yourself on top of all this? And, you know, what other things do you do so you can come back to yourself at the end of the week or day?
I feel like it's important to, you know, like you said, like loving yourself, I feel is different for everybody, right? Like you can
Yes.
love yourself very differently as opposed to how I love myself. But I think it's giving yourself space and leniency to be down, you know, to accept the good and the bad. So there are some days where you feel like you're not at 100%, and it's okay to give, if you feel like you're at 40% today, for example, it's okay to be at 40%. Because even,
Absolutely.
yeah, even by giving your 40%, you're actually giving your 100% because that's all you feel that day. If that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah?
No, but what does Angelica do? Like, okay, today I feel 20%. Like,
Yeah.
I really cannot work.
Yeah.
What is your go-to? Do you go to sports? Do you go to nail? Or I don't know. Sometimes I just go and watch a movie and I feel better, you know?
Yeah. I think for me, it's spending time with my loved ones. So friends and family.
There you go.
Yeah, because like, you know, when you're juggling so much and all the time, sometimes it's easy to be like, you know, okay, sorry guys, like work comes 1st. But then that little getaway of knowing that, you know what, sometimes it's okay. It's okay not to feel that guilt of like, okay, I don't have to work today. It's okay, that guilt. And then just spending it guilt-free with the friends and family and not be like, oh, okay, guys, 1 hour time, I gotta go.
Yes.
You know, like, yeah.
And you do, like, there are times when, like, I do digital detox. Do you do that?
Yes. Yeah.
So good, right?
Yeah.
After that, you come back refreshed and you're ready to tackle that phone again.
Yeah, or you're just like, oh, do I really need to use my phone?
Yeah, I know that habit of like.
Yeah, exactly. The moment you have like 5 minutes, you're just like, okay, look it up. But you know, sometimes you're just like, no, it's okay. Tune off.
It's hard. It's hard to do. I know it's
hard,
hard to do, but like you have to make yourself do it. So now and I know, like, on top of the business and social media, which like takes up pretty much like 23 hours of your time, you're also getting married.
Yes.
Congratulations. I know he's a very private person, but how is he taking all this? Because you are out there, you know, your profile is public, and you obviously have to connect with a lot of people, network, and all that. So, how do you intend to balance that with your partner, soon life partner?
Yeah, I think he's been very supportive. So, you know, really blessed with that. But we actually do this little tradition. So every night before bed, we would actually kind of point out 3 things we're grateful for each day. So I would say 3 things and he would say 3 things. And I think having this little moment of like reflection of, you know, all the good things that has happened that day, it can be as simple as, you know, oh, today I didn't get stuck in a jam or something like that. You know, small things like that. It makes you also look back on your whole day and be like, okay, whether big or small, you celebrate the little wins. And I think the fact that we tell each other our 3 things, in a way, it makes me feel like, okay, we're celebrating it together as well, no matter how big, no matter how small.
My God, I wish I
Yeah.
could have that conversation with my husband. My husband is so old school. He'd be like, shut up, go to bed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is a new generation thing, and like I think like a lot of couples really need to start doing this. The 5 things you're grateful for thing, because even when it comes to talking to our kids, recently we had an argument. This is about me now, okay? And he said, yeah, don't talk to the children about this. I'm like, what are you, in the 80s? You know, it's time.
Yeah.
Open communication is about, you know, a lot more now, especially
Yes.
post-pandemic, right? So, Guilo, if you're watching, talk to your kids and me, all right? See? It's working out for Angelica. And what do you foresee? Because the wedding is not here yet, right? You think you would be able to, you know, do all this craziness and then go off, get married? Are you planning on kids, or is this not even a thought yet?
I mean, I feel like for us, we eventually do want kids. It's just a matter of when. or when we feel the right time would be. So not in the plan yet, but let's see. But in terms of the wedding as well, yeah, it's a lot. Like, I don't know how people plan all of these. There's so many steps to it.
Wedding planners.
Yes. No, but even like wedding planners, some of them, like, we do have one. We've engaged with one. But even like the
There
amount
are a
of
lot of
things,
steps.
yeah.
Yes, but if you have a good wedding planner, and I'm assuming you do, all you have to do is say yes or no, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it doesn't have to be a big one. Yeah, there's a new trend. What do
intimate
you
weddings.
That's the word.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you scroll just as much as me because that's something I just saw, Why not? Intimate weddings.
Yeah.
You're still married.
Yeah.
As long as the two of you and the family, and
Yeah.
of course the elders, are happy, right? So I don't see a problem because from what I get from this like half an hour of chilling with you, I already know you're so chilled. Everything's just gonna fall into place for you. The project's gonna come, your kid's gonna come, and you're just gonna juggle.
They just happen to be there, everything. all at once.
Yeah. And I just learned today that you're not work from home, you work remote. And I love this new way of working because you're not tied down 9 to 5. Because a lot of, eventually if you do become a mother, are tied down 9 to 5. And it's so difficult mentally and everything, right?
And I think it's quite different because like everybody has their own time which they're productive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So
Yeah, this new trend of work remote or work from home should really be a thing,
I think COVID helped a lot.
I think
though.
so.
Yeah.
I think like our mental awareness is thanks to COVID.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason Loving Yourself, the podcast, existed because, now people are, they have to be reminded about themselves, or people are just more aware. So that's why I'm so thankful you're here to talk about yourself. To end this episode, because we're going to come back and talk about furniture, on a scale of 0 to 10 or 1 to 10 of loving yourself at this point in your life, where do you think you are? Do you want to elaborate on that?
Sure. So I have to give myself a number.
Yeah.
I think I'm at an 8.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it took me a while to get here, but I also feel that it's an ever-changing journey and it's always evolving. I don't think there'll come a time where I'll be a perfect 10, and I think it's okay.
Nobody is.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody
So to appreciate and to love yourself in every single stage of life, good and the bad. But I think, 8 is a good number because I wouldn't say like, I don't know, like I feel like I've grown quite a lot to get here.
Yes, and you sound like you've grown, and you're just, I don't know. All I get is chill.
Yeah.
There's this chill vibe. What are you doing? You need to let me know so I can be chill, from Angelica. So do check out, it's at My Sundays in Bed. That's the Instagram where you will find all their work and, life as a young small business owner and a young lady. And congratulations on
Thank
the
you so
wedding.
much.
We'll talk about space and, how your space should flow and furniture in our next episode. Do you have anything else to tell our Loving Yourself audiences before we wrap up? As a person, as a woman, doesn't have to be a woman, just about loving yourself.
I think most importantly is cut yourself some slack. Like, honestly, we always judge ourselves too much. We put too much pressure on ourselves. So cut yourself some slack. It's okay. You're doing well.
Love it. Cut yourself some slack. Thank you, Angelica.
Thank you.